Hey guys, welcome back. Jermaine Morgan here, and my kids are also here, so you might see them running around from time to time. I'm on daddy duty today. So I'm a father, entrepreneur, bass player, musician, music director, all that kind of stuff, and a husband. A lot of times we try to create this polished, professional look, and for the right cause. We're doing videos and that type of thing, but I have kids, I have a family, and a lot of times they want to see what I do, so you might see them in my environment today. So for today's video, I want to answer a few questions I was asked in the last live feed that I did, so stay tuned. Okay, so I wanted to revisit some of the questions that were asked to me in one of the, actually the first YouTube live video that I did. I told you guys that I would come back and answer some of you all's questions. I have 3 questions that I picked out that I kind of want to deal with. Some of the questions were answered right there, so that's why I won't get into a lot of the other ones. So for the first question, I had a question that says, how do you get away from making everything sound like quartet? I can actually identify with the quartet struggle because most of you that know me personally, some of you may not know me personally, but I came from, that was my foundation for music, learning how to play Southern quartet music, that type of thing. I come from the Baptist church and all that. A lot of blues influence, a lot of quartet influence. So I definitely get the struggle of trying not to make everything sound like quartet. Now, my answer to that question would simply be to really listen to the music that you're trying to learn and the music that you're trying to emulate, and try to learn that music as it is on the record. Try not to add anything extra to it when you're initially learning the music. Just stick to it how it is, learn it verbatim how it goes, and once you have that under your belt, then start to add your own ideas and that type of thing in it. Now, as far as me, it helped me in the transition to really start learning the tunes and the songs I was trying to play, and not add too many little, the little stuff. Say for instance, if a song is simply moving from the 1 to the 4. Now that's the bare minimum of the song. Now if the bass player on the record was playing, try just doing that. Try not to get into your own. Once you get into that, now you start adding your own influence, which is fine. But the best thing to do when you're initially learning the song, you're initially trying to get it under your hand, so to speak. You want to keep that song as much to the record as possible. In that way, you kind of stay away from whatever outside influences you may have that may impose on the song. Answer to that question would be just learn the songs how they go and try not to add your own spin to them until you've locked that song in. Question number 2 was kind of similar. Do I spend a lot of time transcribing? So early on, I did spend a lot of time transcribing on bass, really trying to figure out what was going on, really trying to learn the instrument. And I will say now the pros and cons to transcribing, a couple of pros to transcribing. One of the things about transcribing is kind of like I said, if you're stuck in that place where you're trying to get out of, we use quartet for example at the beginning, but it might be anything. You probably try not to make everything sound rock. You try not to make everything sound too jazzy, or you try not to make everything sound too country. Whatever your genre is that you're trying to not make everything sound like, transcribing is an excellent way to do that. And I've even heard some other bass players that we kind of agree in the same regard in terms of transcribing more than just the bass line. I mean, learning the guitar line, learning the keyboard part, learning the drum part. That way you can emulate many more parts, and it adds much more to your playing. It gives you a better idea of where everything is going, especially once you start to try to add feels and come up with ideas and that type of thing. People ask me all the time, how do I come up with all these licks? And the biggest thing is understanding all of the parts of the song. It gives me options to know where I can put something and what to choose to put there. If I know the chords of the song, I know the guitar parts, I got a lot of things that I can pull from in terms of finding a feel that works for the song. I'm just pulling from everything that's around me, and that's a pro to transcribing. Even when it comes to learning bass lines and learning solos and that type of thing, transcribing widens your vocabulary and gives you so many different avenues that you can take as it relates to playing and coming up and creating things, because you have all of this stuff that's really going into your musical library. When you're transcribing, this is just information that's being stored in your musical library that you can pull out when you want to use it. But if you don't have a big large musical library, you don't really have anything to pull from. So transcribing will help you in that regard. Now, one of the downsides of transcribing is you can run the risk of, if you start transcribing one person or one band or something like that too much, you may run the risk of sounding like a copycat of that person, whoever you're transcribing. If you're constantly transcribing from the same person, you may run that risk, and that's something that you definitely don't want to do as a new player. You want to kind of find your own voice, still transcribe, but be careful how much you take from one person. Pull from a lot of different sources. Don't just pull everything from one source. Okay, for question number 3, who and what do you look for inspiration? Okay, for me, it varies. It varies depending on the season I'm in. For me lately, I've been working on stage presence. As an artist, most of you know I'm an artist. I have music out and that type of thing. So when I do live shows, I'm always looking for ways to improve based on the last performance, the last thing that I did. So for me, I get inspired by watching other live shows, watching other live performers. I may go back and watch like Miles Davis shows, Marcus Miller, or people that might be completely out of my league of what I do, but I can pull something away from what they do that's similar to what I do. Even watching shows from Bobby McFerrin, I was amazed and inspired by the way that he would sit in the middle of a big, huge arena with just a microphone with a t-shirt and jeans on and have a crowd captivated. And something about that really inspired me to try to figure out, okay, how is it he's doing this? Or what is it that he's doing and have these people completely engaged in everything that he's doing? And so things like that inspire me. It's all based on what I'm trying to learn and what season I'm in and what I'm trying to take away in that particular moment. That's going to give me the inspiration. So, all right, so these are just 3 questions that I wanted to address, some things that I was asked. Hopefully these answers have been helpful to you in some way. And if you guys have anything else you want to ask me, you know you can always leave a comment below and I'll try to respond in a timely fashion, if you will. So thank you. Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and listen, if you enjoyed the content, click the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on my notifications so you can be notified each week once I post a new video. I really appreciate you guys being here, and check it out. If you want more content like this and if you want to get even more in depth on the bass lessons, remember to head over to JermaineMorgan.net. There I have many more bass lessons. I talk a little bit more in depth on some of these subjects that we've covered here on YouTube, and I also have music. Most of you don't know, but I am an artist as well, so I do have music available there. If you want to hear me really play, I have music there, so check it out, and I will see you guys on next week. Thank you. I'm out of here.